Let's fight, guys. A very good evening and welcome to each and every one of you, wherever you guys are joining us from this evening. Let us know if you're picking up our audio, how you're receiving us at your end. We got so many challenges happening in studio this evening. We are just happy to be on. It's one of those days where it's a very, very, very challenging evening backstage, but we're so happy that you guys are joining us. We're going to have some guests dropping by this evening. We can get our second screen to work this evening, but we're gonna have a great evening nonetheless. Lots of information to share with you guys wherever you folks are joining us from tonight. We are tremendously privileged that you guys have chosen to be in the ring tonight. As I'm looking to see whether the displays are connecting correctly. We're going to try to sort that out. If not, we're going to have to just work the program as it happens, guys. Take it as it comes. But tracking lots of information this evening. Trust that you guys have had a good weekend. Really trust you guys have had a good weekend. Whatever you guys did over the weekend, we had a great time as well. It's Monday, and we're so grateful. So grateful that all of you guys are here with us. And we're trying to get that bell song to work properly. We love to hear that bell. We love to hear that bell firing. We love to hear the bell firing, folks. As we say, let's fight. Let's fight. And a great evening again to each and every one of you. The screen is a little lower than usual, but we are happy to see we have with us Nicole Yaw and Jacqueline Holder, wherever you guys are joining us from, at home in Guyana or somewhere around the world from Region 11. Let me know, guys, if you're picking up the audio. Okay, that's really important to us. We know we get a little screen distortion too. As I said, lots of this. It's our night for pocketry. But guys, great to see each and every one of you. Man, folks, if you woke up this morning, we have enough reasons to be thankful. We got reasons to be thankful. And if we don't have our usual program, guys, this evening with our screen up, work with us tonight. We're going to have our guest. We have Mr. Roysdale Forde, who is going to be stopping by and telling us about an important case that was won today in the High Court, rather in the Court of Appeal. Roysdale Forde is going to be telling us about that. And as well, we're going to have Mr. Rickford Burke stopping by. Guys, you know, if you come into the ring, what you got to do, you got to share that live stream. So forgive us if everything don't go as usual on the program this evening. We're going to work with what we have. We're going to rise to the challenges, and by God, we are going to surmount them. Really good to have all of you in the ring. I see tons of folks joining us. Elizabeth Williams, Gaius Griffith. I see Eva Jerrick joining us from Connecticut. I see also Antonia Narine. Big shout out to you folks. Elizabeth Narine, Raymond Narine, the whole Narine clan in the ring tonight. Jacqueline Holder, Alexis Arthur. Oh, fantastic folks. Folks, you know, as you come in the ring, what you got to do, and we are going to do what we got to do as well. We know everything is not syncing as it should this evening, but guys, we're going to work with what we have. We're going to take what we have and wait for what we want. Great to see each and every one of you. Lots of information again we are tracking this evening. Guys, what about that accident? Just today on Homestretch Avenue, folks? That's one of the things that are loading on our dashboard tonight. That accident there at Homestretch Avenue, that bus that turned over with all of those folks in it. Guys, we are watching that, and what else we got to say to our bus drivers? What else can we say to and about the bus drivers in Ghana? Folks, when they start, I just pull in a corner. When I'm at the back of a bus or I see a bus coming, I behave like a 70 or 80. I just pull in a corner and allow the young ones to pass. That is what I do for my own sanity, for my own health and well-being, for my mental health especially. I just pull in a corner. So again, I don't have any reports. We don't have any reports of fatalities coming out of that accident on Homestretch Avenue just this morning. I don't know if the situation has changed, but that could have gone so many other ways, folks. That could have gone so many other ways, and I don't know what else we can tell our drivers but to slow down and to take consideration of the passengers you are carrying. You aren't driving yourself. You're not driving yourself. And as a member of the public and carrying members of the public in those minibuses, we can do so much better. Folks, we can do so much better than what is being done this evening. Again, I see Welton Blue is with us, and Onika Rose, Asrina Tappin, Rachelette Dubé, all you fantastic, brilliant folks. Good to have you guys in the ring. Like I said, coming up, we're going to have Mr. Roysdale Forde is going to be joining us. And we're also going to have the one and only Rickford Burke is going to be joining us as well. I see Rowena Cummins is here as well. Margaret, Duncan, Andrew. Well, if it's Duncan, you must be family. Margaret, tell me something. Family. Good to see you, Margaret. I see Gwyneth Jones as well. Is joining us. Great to see you, Gwyneth. So, guys, we're tracking that issue there that transpired this morning with that accident, depending on which school he went to, by the what is that? The cultural center. We saw that accident there this morning, guys. We're following that. And in addition to that, we're also hearing that as of today, folks, you cannot enter the new building society. We've gotten that from some members of the public just today. You cannot enter the new building society without your blue book, without being vaccinated. And, a lot of people are worried about that. And as we know, I mean, I don't know what else to say. We have done our part here in the ring. We say, folks, your body, your choice. But if we have a choice, we say, get vaccinated, as in exercising all the options that are available to you for safe health, to preserve life, and to have you guys around here for a long time. But again, members of the public have been very, very, very concerned, very concerned about that, guys. And even as I talked to you, I told you guys there's one issue after the next in the back end this evening, but we're working with what we have. We're still trying to get our display up and running, so bear with us where that is concerned. But thankfully, that's a small aspect. We know members of the public who are in these dire straits with trying to access institutions like the new building society are really frustrated where those things are concerned. Really frustrated. And again, we're watching those issues, and it seems as though you have the government rolling back some of the COVID-19 measures. For instance, we saw over the weekend, they now have said you can go from 12. The curfew is from 12 to, I think, 4 a.m. So you have an extra hour now. I'm certain that, my brother James Bond, who seemed to always be in the crosshairs of the police, is going to be happy about that. Definitely some reprieve to himself and his business there, and then the host of other private businesses that operate those kinds of hours. Definitely. But whether that long term is going to help us in terms of pushing back COVID-19, that remains to be seen. I don't know if the bank of itself, if the administration of itself is seeing something different. But just today, folks, we are seeing there were 6 more COVID-19 related deaths. 6 more COVID-19 related deaths. So I don't know if the administration got different figures than the ones we have, but that is the challenge. That is the challenge facing us this evening, guys. And that is some of what we have to work through. So on those fronts, one, this terrible accident just this morning, where that bus run off the road and turtle by the National Cultural Center. Following that, watching to see what's happening on the COVID front, both with these deaths that are going up and institutions that are now not allowing people without their blue books. And in a similar incident, another thing that's loading this evening on our dashboard, we had a particular member of the public reached out to us to tell us of a situation there at Republic Bank where their bank card, as you know, sometimes gets stuck in that ATM machine, and they tried to retrieve the bank card. Some folks were out there working on the machine almost simultaneously, but couldn't give the customer back her card. She related to us that she went back to the bank the following day, trying to get her bank card back, her ATM card, that is. And then the Republic Bank is telling her that for them to give her back her card, she needs to get vaccinated. Right? She needs to be vaccinated for them to give her back her bank card. So she is now in limbo. She has challenges, as far as I know, trying to get with taking a COVID-19 vaccine. And then the bank is saying, on the other hand, that they can give her back her card. Folks, how many of you out there are facing these kinds of challenges with these institutions? How many of you out there? You know, it's very, very telling. It is very, very telling what is happening out there and the kinds of challenges people are facing. I know many of you may have seen a video circulating on social media over the weekend where Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, is talking about how unfair the banking sector is in terms of giving out loans to people. She's saying, what are you holding back on people's monies for? Right? We're not paying you to watch our money. It's to invest back into the small man, basically. So you got that challenge. And then now you got this COVID challenge. The woman trying to get her ATM card back, how she related the story to us. And then the bank now telling her, oh, she has to now be COVID-19. She has to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Folks, if you're out there, share the live stream for us. Happy to have so many of you on board. As you know, guys who are now joining us, we're having some challenges behind the scenes this evening that we're still working to resolve. Thousands of you are on the live stream, guys. Do us that favor, guys. You know we love the shares and we don't make no bones about it. We scraven for the shares. We hungry for the shares as well. So, guys, share the live stream. Do us that favor. Share the live stream, and we're gonna have our guests on with us shortly, folks. Trust you guys have had a great weekend. Trust you guys have had a fantastic weekend. And like us, you have surmounted, or you are trying to surmount the kinds of challenges that you have, that you had. Coming up, we're looking forward to talking with Rickford Burke, and we're also looking forward to talking with the one and only Roysdale, the one and only Roysdale Forde. And as you guys know, Roysdale Forde would have signaled that he is throwing his hat into the race for the PNCR chairmanship, and we are going to definitely talk to him about that sooner or later. But definitely this evening we're talking to him about that very, very important victory at the Court of Appeal today. Roysdale has been winning case after case against these Jagabats, case after case, taking them to court, knowing that they are involved in wrongdoing, and taking them to court. And that is why it was so laughable last week when we heard Irfaan Ali talking about the installed president, talking about respect for the Constitution. When case after case, the very High Court is telling them that they are unconstitutional in their approaches to so many issues. So many issues. And so we're going to be talking with Roysdale Forde, and then definitely we are going to be talking with also Rickford Burke. You know, I like when Rickford come on because Rickford is going to do his own thing. Rickford is going to say what he has to say, guys, and who vex. Y'all better share the live stream. We are working through our own challenges, as we said. Good to see so many of you. Good to see Natasha in the ring tonight. Natasha Joseph. Good to see Candy Naleen, Inderjeet. Good to see George Campbell in the ring tonight. Good to see Jason McDonald. Good to see Beverly Adams. Folks, y'all saw Irfaan over the weekend? I saw some people saying Happy Halloween. They say Irfaan looked like a pumpkin. Happy Halloween, guys! We wish we had our monitor working well this evening. We had all that stuff queued up for you, but this jagabat of a monitor refused to work this evening. The guys are still trying to rectify that. But we saw Irfaan there over the weekend in that loud orange there, and people started saying Happy Halloween. They don't know if Irfaan was coming as a pumpkin. They say one person said Irfaan looked like the Kool-Aid man. You know, it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice on social media at all. Y'all must got some behavior sometimes, you know. Y'all must have some damn behavior sometimes. Y'all must have some behavior. So, guys, we are watching that. We're watching to see what transpired there. Watching to see he's off to this very important climate change conference. Very, very important climate change conference there in Germany. And oh, Father, I wish they let Irfaan talk for like 2 hours. Like 2 hours. I'm certain you guys would have followed what transpired at the press conference last week, or if you want to call it a press conference. If you guys want to call it a press conference, we trust that you guys followed. Well, the other Jagabat had a press conference just today. The other Jagabat had a press conference today. Oh, he fumed. The Jagabat Jagdeo, he fumed about what all the folks have been saying about their environmental stance at this very conference. He fumed at that. Oh, they must not be questioned. Oh, these stakeholders, these environmental stakeholders, according to him, oh, they're not taking the time to have an appreciation because this 100% renewable energy that the Granger administration committed to for 2025, oh, it's unrealistic. Unrealistic. The only thing that is unrealistic is about Jagdeo trying to pump the oil, pump as much oil there and trying to be this green wizard for the environment, right? As we say home, folks, those of you who understand our Creole, our colloquial way of saying things, we say you can't suck cane and blow whistle, right? So it's either you're going to pump or you're going to be a good steward of the environment. But blaming the last administration, that's all they can do, you know, for committing us to what you deem as unrealistic, you know, expectations of 100% renewable energy by 2025 is not going to work. Jagdeo is trying to tell us, folks, he's the only sane man in the room. Everybody else mad. All the environmental stakeholders crazy. But he alone understand what needs to be done and is getting it done. But we understand what is happening. This is about making money. Them boys want to make money. Oh, just be honest about that now. Be honest and say, you want to make money. You and the boys want to make money. Like Don Singh, guardian of democracy. Now the man has a big 5G company. That is what it was always about. Wasn't fighting for the man from Crabwood Creek. Wasn't fighting for the man from Springlands or New Amsterdam or Iflat. It was about money for the boys. So he posts Irfaan to Glasgow, the Jagabat Jagdeo, and now he is having a state visit. The Ghanaians are coming, and he's receiving them as head of state. That is what it is about, you know. The puppet Irfaan, he get posts off to Glasgow with his speech and his points written down for him and decided for him. He's not deciding anything for himself. And then Jack Dewey now is going to receive the Ghanaian delegation as head of state. Third term. But Irfaan don't mind because he can make a little money too. So he don't mind being a puppet. But that is what's going down. That is what's going down. Jack Dewey has decided on what commitments they will make to the environment. They're 50%. And he said the next 50% going to take us till to 2050. He has decided that. And so Irfaan has been dispatched to deliver that message. Prepared for him. He has decided that. And then he is now deciding what he wants to do with oil and gas and the Natural Resource Fund with the Ghanaian authorities. Right? So don't let us fool ourselves, guys. What is happening? Let us talk about what it is. That is what is happening. So don't come and fluff and you views down the stakeholders in oil and gas and the environment and so on. They don't know. You alone know. Right? Because he's champion of the earth, champion of oil and gas, champion of the economy, champion of health, champion of everything. He alone. And folks, that is what a dictatorship looks like. Just in case you all don't know. Just in case you don't know, what are the signposts for a dictatorship? That is what it looks like. So the man had a press conference yesterday. He spoke for about 45 minutes on COP, this environmental conference that's happening in Glasgow, Germany. And then he spoke for the rest of the time on his LCDS plans. You can imagine. I heard the man talk about Amila Falls. The Jagabat Jagdeo. He spoke about Amila Falls. Folks, I hope you all sharing the live stream. But he left out the best part. Y'all know the part that Jagabat left out? He didn't talk about Phip Motilal. He didn't talk about Phip Motilal, who never built a road, never construct a hydro project, but was given that multi-billion-dollar project. I didn't think a quarter mile of the road built these many years later. I didn't think a quarter mile built these many years later. He didn't talk about all of that corruption and skullduggery. Oh, Granger them shut down the hydro project. And he has put y'all on notice. He's going to destroy a whole portion of the forest to build this reservoir to aid the Amila Falls project. Just like how they mash up the mangrove. Oh, yes. Right? He said, don't express your concerns when you all see the forest being destroyed. It needs to be done for this reservoir. Everybody knows, folks. The science has overtaken Amila Falls with solar power. Now he's saying you cannot sell solar power credits or some nonsense like that on the international market as yet. Right? So even though there is solar power, can do a much better job with less money than Amila Falls. No, they're going back to Amila Falls and the Phip Motilals of this world. And that is what you're seeing. Folks, you and I know some contractors in Berbice who never built a road in their life. Never built a road in their lives. They're building a road. Some bridge builders is money for the boys. Never construct a bridge in their life. Gonna build bridge. In Georgetown, all over. Never build a road. Never build a bridge. But they're going on. Money for the boys. So who knows? Just like how Gokul Bodu going back at GCOM, Phip Motilal could be going back to the hydro project. Who knows? Who knows? The greed and corruption of the PPP administration knows no bounds. Knows no bounds. And it's up to you and me. It's up to you and me to keep them accountable. So the man was there today, huffing and puffing about what's happening, huffing and puffing, right? because the stakeholders are pushing back. All they want you to say is, well done. Oh, y'all doing nice. Y'all doing nice. That's all they want, you know. But the criticisms and the holding them accountable, or they take you to make you enemies because of that. Just over the weekend, we saw what looked like a gentleman out of Gaisuko wrote a damning letter against the CEO of Gaisuko, Says Narayan. A damning letter against him, saying that Says Narayan is responsible for some of the destruction happening at at Gaisuko rather. He is responsible for some of the destruction because of how he's treating staff who got vast more experience than him. Mustafa, your name calling. When are you guys going to rein in Says Narayan? Till he broke up everything. Then you can say, oh, it's up new. It's up new. You all know to your consciences, some of those sugar estates are not reopening, but you're all still going on and going forward. And then you got a destructive element, like Says Narayan there, doing a set of foolishness, firing a whole set of competent people, and he know one thing about sugar. Says Narayan couldn't produce a pound of sugar to save his life. But people who understand the industry, he has gone there and doing a whole set of foolishness. And that is the complaint we've gotten from every sector. Every sector. It is Says Narayan at Gaisuko. It's Raymond Cummins at the General Registrar's Office. It's Nia Suban at NCN. A whole set of mini dictators. A whole set of mini dictators who don't know nothing, coming to make the lives of professional people uncomfortable. That's what's happening there. And so what we saw today, again, these Dagabats, this chief Dagabat Jack Dio, he talking about everything on this. Listen to the man's press conference. Everything is I put a team in place to decide this thing about the environment. I decided on that. I instructed them. I said this. I did that. Ali absent, you know. Ali absent from the whole equation. Right? And now he Ghana's travel buddy. I hear and I be wondering all the time, how come Jack Dio, champion of the earth, Mr. Pump it all out. Not in Glasgow. But then we understood why. The Ghanaians are coming, and so he is going to act as president. He is going to palaver in himself. Hope you all know the word palaver. You got to be real old school. Gallivanting himself. Third term. But I know the folks of Guyana, we waking up. Y'all waking up. Because we woke long now. And we told y'all more of the same. That is what is coming. More of the same. Folks, Roysdale is going to be joining us shortly. Very shortly. And also our colleague, Rickford Burke, will be joining us as well. And, you know, thanks to the absence of our monitor this evening, we can't even show you some of the graphics. But guys, we're going to rectify that. We are going to rectify that. I don't know what we did at the back end, but it seems to have distorted so much of the technical work we do here every night. And we're going to rectify that. Guys, share the live stream. Coming up, Roysdale Forde and Rickford Burke, and we're keeping our eyes on these Jagabats. And then you got, last but not least, Frank Anthony with health. Y'all want to know what's happening in health? Ask the family of Davy Samaru, who lost her life there at the New Amsterdam Hospital. Frank Anthony, your name calling. Can we talk about that? Davy Samaru, 24 years old. lost her life, and her baby lost her life and her baby as well over the weekend here. Great to have you guys join. Lost her baby. Folks, I fed up. I don't know about you guys. I fed up. Completely fed up. Like New Amsterdam Hospital take over from what Georgetown, this narrative we had of Georgetown Public Hospital. Like New Amsterdam take over from that. Young Kellon Bell, student from Bushlot, lost his life. New Amsterdam Hospital just recently. His parents were on this program, told us 3 COVID tests said Kellon Bell was COVID-free. And yet a doctor there at New Amsterdam Hospital was telling them he got COVID. And of course, insisting that they intubate him. But that was the end. How many mothers or potential mothers lost their lives recently, in the recent past, at New Amsterdam Hospital? And now you add Davy Samaru to the mix. Hear what stood out to me in this story about Davy Samaru there at the New Amsterdam Hospital. Hear what stood out to me. Because according to a post-mortem, and we picked this up out of Newsroom, according to the post-mortem, showed that Davy Prasad died from shock due to pulmonary, right, thromboembolism, right, pulmonary thromboembolism, which I am being advised is something that happens in your head. But the hospital told the family that Davy Samaru died of a blood clot in the lung. Yep. That is what she told. Something of that nature. So the story is adding up, and then they're saying the baby cause of death was given as congenital malformation. Well, they can say anything. Right? Congenital malformism. Is that the word? Malformation. According to one pathologist, Dr. Lopez, adding the cause as intraventricular communication, right? Which suggests a hole in the heart. Folks, you can't come in. A hole in the heart. Which suggests a hole in the heart. For folks, the story ain't adding up. The story is not adding up. So we're watching that, right? It seems that when you touch down at New Amsterdam Hospital, you don't know. So like New Amsterdam becoming like the COVID center. And we're going to be following up on this story, folks, as we get more of it for you guys. I see our guests are already backstage. Guys, you're going to want to share the live stream. I'm going to take Roysdale Forde first. I'm going to ask my other brother, Rickford, to hold for me. Rickford, hold the focus, Rickford. Because I want you to tell me what happening with these people in New Amsterdam. I'm frightened. Honest to God. I don't care what I tell you. Like, don't carry me in New Amsterdam. Don't carry me by no COVID center. Y'all hear what I tell y'all? I don't have time with that. I don't have time with that. New Amsterdam getting a terrible reputation, and Frank Cantony gotta stop promising all these investigations and do something. Do something meaningful. Like, to God, what y'all gonna tell Davy Samaru family? What y'all gonna tell about my husband? What y'all gonna tell her? Come on, folks. Come on. Come on. Waiting to get Roysdale camera, and then we are gonna go. I'm ready to go. Roysdale, if you're there, we are ready to go. Here the licks the courts put on these jagabats. And some of these very cases gotta go to court, carry the hospital to court. Heads must turn. Can't just take people's life from them and nothing happens. Right? Right? Good. So folks, we're being advised. Thanks to the guys at the back of this embolism, embolism. Let me get the pronunciation right. Thromboembolism is of the lung. Davy family says the story not adding up. How have you parsed it? Davy Samaru family. People that are going good, you know. Soon you touch down there, it's problems. You got Chigga. Is the Chigga cause it that? Right? Is the Bigfoot, is the Goldie, is the Nara, all that. People going good kitty cat with all the little ailments. Is the Betrus, everything. Anything to absolve them from responsibility. Davy Samaru family wants justice. Like all the other folks. Who have met their demise at that institution. I am thankful that Georgetown Hospital seems to be coming out of that kind of narrative, coming out from that kind of foolishness. But now, like, they transfer that to New Amsterdam Hospital. They transfer that craziness. Come on, Frank. Earn the salary, Frank. Earn that salary. Folks, I'm seeing Roysdale is in the studio, and I hope that I have his camera, and I'm going to bring him on. We're going to talk about what transpired in the court just today. Roysdale, I'm holding for you, my brother. I see Rickford is also in the studio. Guys, I want you to share the live stream. We got to hold them accountable. I don't know how y'all look at it. We deserve a better country than we have currently. These guys just trying to make money for themselves. When you sit down and you listen to Jack Leo talk about all these issues, you know, you wonder, who gave you all the authority to do that on behalf of the Guyanese people? If the stakeholders, by majority, who understand these environmental issues are sounding an alarm, y'all say you're more bright than all of them collectively, you alone. All them stakeholders in oil and gas wrong, and y'all right. All of them are wrong and y'all are right. Y'all think it's just so? Come on, folks. Come on. We got to hold them accountable, irrespective of which party y'all belong to. Irrespective. So we are buying this thromboembolism. Thromboembolism. We ain't buying that. And you know what are frightened? You ask them for an independent investigation. Oh, Father. You ask them for an independent investigation. They're having it. And all they can come and say, oh, we will leave no stone unturned. No stone unturned. Right? Tell that to paper shorts. No stone unturned. His family still asking for justice. Gone down outside Main Street. No stone unturned. The Henry boys, Harris, Singh, no stone unturned. Boston from Essequibo, no stone unturned. Now you can tell Davy family, oh, we will leave no stone unturned. Madness. You'll have no respect for people's life. No respect for people's lives. No respect. That has to change. And that is why folks like Roysdale Forde and the opposition challenging y'all constantly in the court. Folks, I have Mr. Roysdale Forde with me. I think he is ready, and I wanna go to him. As soon as he says, yeah, I think Royce is ready for us now. Folks, without any further ado, the one and only Mr. Roysdale Forde. Roysdale, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Sherrod. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank
and good night to all your listeners.
Yes, sir. I'm happy that you are here because we're talking about on all the fronts how this administration is failing. And they have just failed Davy Samaru's family. This young woman, 24 years old, they haven't even started living her life yet. Gone there for her baby, and then you're going to tell her family sorry. Young Kellon Bell, same institution, almost on a weekly basis, is a horror story coming out of New Hampshire, and we got to change that. We have to change that. Roysdale, yeah.
Something is seriously wrong with our health system, Sherrod. Um, Currently, we're focusing on COVID and the Lillian Dahl Health Center, but it's throughout the country. There's something fundamentally wrong with the management, with the care, with the institution. And this is a very simple situation. This is of something very fundamental. It's not complex. This is a pregnant woman going to give birth. I believe that the time has come when we should be able to get beyond this level of incompetence. It's very, very sad.
Yeah.
And you know, Sherrod, many years ago, that was a common feature. Women would go to public institutions, public hospitals, and they would die or there would be some tragedy happening. It seemed that if it had come back now under this version of the installed PPP government once again.
Exactly. And Roysdale, I'm happy you raised that, because I didn't call name just now, but it was folks like Forde and Lawrence under the David Granger-led administration that worked tirelessly to change that narrative of Georgetown Public Hospital, because that is how they were operating. But I know, like, they send all them old staff to New Amsterdam. Right?
It's very disturbing. It's extremely disturbing.
Very disturbing. What else that is disturbing, Roysdale, is the same people who talk about respect for the Constitution. I don't know if you caught, I mean, it takes a lot out of you to listen to Irfaan Ali for a lengthy period of time, but who boasted that he's a president who obeys the Constitution. And we could cite case after case after case where the Chief Justice has said there that they were unconstitutional in some of their dealings, their actions. The Court of Appeal, similar. One such case is that case that the judgment was handed down just today. Tell us about that, Roysdale, and why it's important.
Sure, today we had a very important decision in relation to a very important matter. Sure, you recall, because we colleague members of Parliament, members of the National Assembly, that on our first sitting, our first day as members of the National Assembly, the PPP brought that what they call the emergency budget of 2020 on the 1st of September 2020 in breach of the laws. I remember us having numerous discussions in Parliament about it. So this is an important matter because the law relating to the bringing of budgets in the National Assembly required, firstly, that in relation to constitutional agencies and specifically the Office of the Auditor General, that such a budget first be submitted to the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, who will then take that budget to the clerk of the National Assembly, and then will be tabled into the National Assembly for consideration and deliberation. On the 15th of September, that was the date in which the Public Accounts Committee was constituted, with the election of David Patterson, our colleague, the Honorable David Patterson, as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. So on the 1st of September, there was no constitutional body accepted and recognized as a Public Accounts Committee who could have received any Auditor General's report and bring it to the National Assembly that would bring their budget proposal. So that was the first issue that formed part of the court's deliberation and consideration in this matter. The second one, Sherrod, is equally important. It requires the law, the Fiscal Management and Accountability Act, requires the Minister of Finance, in relation to the constitutional agencies, when they would have submitted all their reports and budget proposals to the National Assembly, that he go through them and submit his recommendations so that the National Assembly, 65 members, including the two of us, would be able to sit, review it, and make a sensible analysis and conclusion as to what is being asked relative to what the country could afford. Once again, the Minister of Finance, or the Senior Minister of Finance, as he's called, Ashni Singh,
President.
yes, confusion, as you would say, Sherrod, pocketry. They brought the budget without affording the members of the National Assembly that opportunity for review. The court today, Sherrod, in a very strong judgment, rejected the arguments of Anil Nandalal. He first told the court that it was an issue of an emergency, and therefore the doctrine of necessity applied, and the court rejected the argument. After that bill would have been passed, the appropriation bill of 2020, what they did next, Sherrod, they sought to go to repeal those provisions which required them to do those things that I just referred to. So he then argued in court that the case was academic. It was no longer of any substance and importance because they had now changed the law. Justice Holden, delivering his decision, said that the National Assembly and the Minister of Finance are subject to the Constitution and they're subject to the laws of Guyana. And therefore, they must comply with the law. They're not above the law. And it was a very strong and decisive decision by Justice Holder. The court also pointed out clearly that even if you repeal the law, going through the analysis of the cases from the CCJ and around the world, the court concluded at the end of the day that the public interest was so important and the public welfare, together with the principle of the rule of law, which must be upheld, that he felt that even though they had repealed the law, that he felt necessary to make a declaration that they would have failed to comply with the law in both aspects. That in relation to the fact that they had to go and get the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee constituted to first receive the budget proposal of the Office of the Auditor General from the Auditor General and table it in the National Assembly, and that the members of the National Assembly form an integral part of the budget proposal and consideration, and it must be tabled in the National Assembly for the consideration. So, Sherrod, these are very important matters. They point out clearly, yet again, that the PPP is not interested in complying with the law. They point out clearly that the PPP continue to act in a manner contrary to the democratic principles, which they only speak and or espouse about, but never practice. So this is yet another decision coming, I believe, just after a week or two from the constitutional agencies matter, in which the court ruled again that whatever Nandalal is telling the installed government is unconstitutional. Mm-hmm. And therefore, now, Sherrod, I think that we've had a number of cases that you have alluded to, starting very shortly after their installation as a government, which establish one thing and one thing only, Sherrod, that they're undemocratic, they refuse to comply with the law, they want to subjugate the institutions of the state, of the Constitution to their will. And very importantly, we see a strong line of cases emerging from the courts rejecting that sort of posture, that sort of disposition. And the Guyanese people must understand that we are fighting. We are fighting for them. We're fighting these sort of situations that they want to go down these dark, strange lines. And we will not tolerate it. We'll go back to the court. We will keep pushing them back. We'll defeat them. The court system by itself, we will say it takes long, 9 months, 6 months, and so on. But what happens at the end of the day, Sherrod, is that you can conclusively, for once, clearly say that what they've done is wrong, and it is recorded there.
Roysdale, and I really want to underscore that case after case over the last year, the court has consistently found Irfaan Ali catfish and his government unconstitutional. And that was the road perhaps he was heading down with this whole thing about meeting with the leader of the opposition, right? But thankfully, it looked like Uncle Sam put his knee on his neck, and he has now agreed to meet without precondition, unconstitutional all around. And this is in part, Roysdale, to your tremendous work and your team. Your work, I would say, first and foremost, as the Shadow Minister for Legal Affairs and the Attorney General in the National Assembly, because these issues were debated in the National Assembly. But again, they used the majority to roll over and to move their thing forward. And then when challenged in the court, again, the court says, you know what, y'all unconstitutional. So that is on one front. Roysdale, this is November 1st. We are supposed to be deep in local government election campaigning. Local government is stipulated by the Constitution. But then talking about that is another area that they're going to be deemed unconstitutional. They create a whole set of mess at GCOM. A whole set of mess at GCOM. And now we're going to use them and say, oh, we ain't got to see you. Oh, we ain't got this person. When y'all are the ones who created that mess. So that's another unconstitutional avenue they're heading down.
Well, Sherrod, we're speaking about local government. And the entire local government architecture makes the PPP uncomfortable. Sherrod, from 1992 until 2015, the PPP, I believe, held one local government elections. That was sometime in 1994, 1996,
Correct.
and never held another. It took the APNU AFC to campaign aggressively while it was in opposition, um, to push them towards the holding of a local government election. Even at that time in 2014, they refused to do so. In the period 2015 to 2020, we've held two local government elections. And the other aspect of the local government, which I might be going into, another shadow ministerial responsibility, that of Ganesh Mahipal, my friend. But Sherrod, what is happening at the local government commission itself is very disturbing. You see the local
Yeah.
government commission trying to overturn um, decisions made by the previous local government commission. Currently, Sherrod, we're in court with them, and all these things are going to come up, and the public is really going to see that myself and my team and my colleagues, MPs, that we're actually working. Sherrod, is constantly being said that the APNU AFC shadow ministers are not working, the members of parliament are not working, but we are working continuously. Sherrod, the situation with the mayor and city council, they want
Royce,
to take.
Royce, let me underscore there something you said early on, that some of these things take months in terms of the High Court coming to these decisions when these people are challenged, because it's one thing to challenge them in the streets and another thing to challenge them in the courts. And I remember that adage that the moral arc of the universe is long, Roysdale, but it bends towards justice. That is what inspired today in the court.
Yeah, Sherrod, definitely. But I wanted to make this point quickly. I know you're probably running out of your time, and I'm over time. But I want to make the issue, Sherrod, in relation to the Local Government Commission, whereby the Local Government Commission is now seeking to overturn decisions made by the previous local government body, was established and constituted under our administration, in effect, to ensure that the persons who were supposed to have been appointed as the town clerk and the deputy town clerk and other significant offices within the municipality of Georgetown, that it doesn't happen. We're already in court and litigation in relation to that, and we are preparing to go back to court if necessary, because I spoke with the mayor this morning, and we are prepared to go back to court. They want to now go and put new advertisements in the newspapers to advertise for positions in which we have already identified and approved persons.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a long process. I'm prepared to battle. As you know, I'm a member of the People's National Congress Reform, and I've indicated, if nominated, that I will contest for the office of chairmanship. So we're going to be fighting. Let's fight, Sherrod. We're fighting all the way down the line.
Royce, just before I let you go and allow the other fighter to come in the ring, on the City Hall front, I see the installed Minister Dharmalal talking about City Hall selling properties and undervaluing property. That's none of his business. City Hall has a council. That is none of Dharmalal's business. City Hall has a council that is like a board, and they have to decide. It's not for the minister to tell City Hall what property they can sell or who they can rent properties to. But again, Roysdale, is the control freakism. I want to touch on another thing very, very briefly. Now, we have seen all of these successes with you, fighting these cases in the court system. Anil and win nothing since he gone as AG. Anil and win nothing. I don't know what's happening there, but the real point I want to make, you articulated where we are with local government elections, what APNU did to reform that system there, had two local government elections in its tenure in office, as against these guys, 23 years and only one. Now, they want to talk about riggers, that we are riggers, but look at the riggers. You rig a whole system for 23 years. to deny the will of the people. They got a whole set of people before the court, including Valde Lawrence, including Miss Joseph, Carol
Karen
Joseph,
Joseph.
and a whole set of other people about election fraud. 1 year plus later, not a shred of evidence. They win any case yet? They win any case yet? But look what the court has been deciding on the other side, case after case. They are unconstitutional as they are installed. Roysdale. That's the
But,
last
but,
point I
but,
want.
but, but Sherrod, coming back to those type of cases, the election matters. I want to point out again that Justice Holder, I think it was last week or the week before, ruled in favor of an application filed by Miss Roxanne Myers. It was a very important case. I don't think it took too much attention in the public and in the media, um, in which the DPP, the Director of Public Prosecutions, is challenging a decision of the magistrate to hold a preliminary inquiry in relation to the case. Now, what that means, Shara, the preliminary inquiry is basically the process set out in law, in which the state will have to bring their evidence and show the court what evidence you have. You understand, Shara? But they don't
Yes.
want that process.
Yeah.
They want a
Yeah.
quick summary sort of trial that could take place in some sort of system that they want to ensure that will result in presumably a decision or a conclusion or a conviction in their way. But the process identified by the magistrate is that she's going to hold a preliminary inquiry. They must bring their evidence, and that case is then committed to the High Court. So Justice Holder, in that matter, also very importantly, rejected the arguments of the attorney of the DPP, and I believe the state was probably involved in that matter also at the Attorney General Chambers. Rejected that, saying that the matter must begin in the magistrate's court.
Yeah.
It must go through
Yeah.
that process, and it must be committed, if necessary, to the High Court for a trial by citizens sitting to hear as a jury trial.
Yeah.
So these are very important developments. We're pushing them
Fantastic.
back significantly,
Fantastic.
Sheriff.
Yeah, and I heard very independently and on a different issue, K.J. Manyasin, senior counsel, said in a stinging letter in the newspapers, too many cases are going to trial without a shred of evidence in this country. Too many cases. And he spoke about this tear that these cases are supposed to go through before they arrive at a certain place. And too many people languish behind bars, are embarrassed in publicly, got a Damocles sword swinging over their heads, and not a shred of evidence. Same Nandilal, Rickford Burke's friend, Nandilal, brought that Mingo case, Riaz Holidar, talking about rigging, not a shred of evidence, and thankfully the Chief Justice told him that. You wasted the court's time. Wasted the
Yes,
court's time.
definitely, Sheriff.
Roysdale, I know you're going to come back and talk to us another night about your run for the chairmanship, but we wanted to gauge you on this very important case, the judgment of which was handed down just today. Again, showing that these are not only installed, they're unconstitutional. Roysdale, thanks very much. I got Nandalal best friend coming up, Rickford Burke. Thanks very much, Roysdale.
Thank you very much, my friend, Sheriff. Thank you,
Fantastic.
everybody.
Folks, that being said, y'all know, and I want Rickford Burke to deny it. Rickford is Nandalal friend. About the time Nandalal calls Rickford name, they got to be friends. And I'm not going to let Rickford tell me anything different this evening. I am not having it. So don't come wrong with funny, Rickford. Don't come wrong with funny. Folks, we're shifting gear. PNCR decides 2021, the road to the 21st biannual delegates Congress. Those are some of the issues we're discussing with Rickford this evening. Folks, I know if y'all know, but Rickford used to be the personal assistant to Desmond Height. So he knows something about politics. We know he's loud, but he actually got some experience in this area. He has also been, according to my records, he was the former chairman and national secretary of the Guyana Youth and Student Movement, GYSM. Well, I think the GYSM must have done something little good. Little good. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further waiting, the one and only Rickford Burke. Rickford, how are you doing, my brother? I feel like
I'm good. I'm good. You throw stones at GYSM. Hey, watch it. Anyway, good night to you. Good night to your listeners. It's a pleasure being here. Good night to my brother Roysdale Forde. I know Roysdale running for chairman. That's good. We want to see healthy,
Please be advised, sir.
competition
Please
in
be
the
advised.
PNC.
I hear you might be running for leader. Talk to me.
Hey, it's Guyana.
Rickford,
Anything is possible. Anything is
anything is
possible.
possible.
I would not take that off the table.
Fantastic. Rickford, I'm certain by
By the
now
way, that
you
was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Rickford, I'm certain by now you've been listening to the candidates. What do you think about some of the plans? You have Joseph Harmon, who is running. You have Mr. Aubrey Norton, all great guys. You have Dr. Richard Van Charles. These are guys who are signal that they want to run for the party. Top spot, the leader of the party. You have Amanda Walton Desir, who's come out and said that she's open for nomination, as you rightfully said. Also, you had Roysdale Forde, who has said that he's going to make a run for the chairman. I saw over the weekend to James Bond, James the name calling, James saying, why not Basil Williams? So who knows? Basil might come out as a contender very shortly, but we know the persons who have come out and say this is what they want to do. These are some of their plans. What are your thoughts thus far?
Well, it's good to see democracy alive and well in the PNC. You don't see that kind of democracy in the party. The party does what Bar Jagdev says, right? He's the maximum ruler. He's the Hitler of the PPP.
Yeah.
So it's good to see on the other side, the other largest party in the country, that there's healthy internal democracy. I have a little nuanced view with regard to the party. First of all, I think this is a period for young people. I think our young people must step forward and take up the political reins in the country. I also think that the party, the PNC, at this point in time should have a consensus list of candidates moving forward. Because I think the party is so fractured, the opposition is so fractured. We're coming out of a period of great disappointment from the leadership of David Granger. The PPP has basically been trying to install themselves as a dictatorship to dominate everything in the country. And what has happened over the last couple of months is that there has been so much infighting, which is normal with any political party that after defeat. There's been so much infighting that they're not focused enough on the real enemy, which is the PPP, and the racism and the racial injustice and the inequity and their abuse of the police, abuse of government, their corruption. They're not focused on that. They're busy beating and fighting each other up. And I think it's counterproductive. I noticed even in the debate that is taking place for leadership, the attacks, they need to cut it out. The attack should be on the PPP. So that's the first thing I want to say. So I think it's healthy for the party to emerge with a consensus list of leaders. And then the party needs serious reform. And I'm listening to all of these candidates. I have not said my position on anything, as I said on another show earlier, that in November, later this month, I'll have my say, because I'm scheduled to talk to a support group up here about the party, and I'll at that point in time disclose my views. But I think what is needed in the party is a youthful, energetic, dynamic leader, one with a vision for national development, one with a vision for the party that would make the party more attractive, attract a wide cross-section, an even wider, rather, cross-section of Guyanese into the party. To be able to convince the rest of the country that the party is the only large, truly democratic party in the country.
Great. And you talk about young people. As I said, I saw James Bond over the weekend saying that, Wamta Basil Williams, should James Bond be one of those young people who throwing their hat into this race for whichever post? And who are some young people who you think should be running?
Sure. I mean, any member of the party can run for any position so long as they're in good and regular standing. My understanding is what the Constitution says. I think any person that possesses the temperament and attributes of a national leader, someone who can command respect and admiration for not only the party members but the all Guyanese, someone who can command respect of the international community, of the diaspora, of CARICOM leaders, someone who has a vision for the country, someone who can convince people to vote for the party, someone who understands the current political dynamic requires a political party that can reach across the aisle, that can create a big tent, bringing everybody. I think we're in the moment of coalition politics, Cheryl. And we need to build a big, wide, all-inclusive coalition of Amerindian organizations, youth organizations, women's organizations, trade unions, religious organizations, community organizations. Build that coalition. It has to be somebody with that vision, someone with gravitas, someone who understands that our young people comprise I would say 60% of the population right now is under age 50. And therefore, we have a very youthful population. And we must come up with policies and programs for these young people. We must come up with programs that can include our young people in national development. Bring in more young people. I have been very critical of President Granger and the AFC coalition government for its cabinet. I've been very critical of the party for a long time, sure. I think for the last 15 years, the party has not recruited enough young professional, young people into the party and trained them and established a succession structure for the party. It's seriously lacking. And I know what I'm talking about. I did that for Desmond Hoyt. I'm the one that brought Raphael Trotman in the party, Valda Lawrence in the party. We went out and recruited Patricia Wilford, Dr. Duncan. We brought in about 29 young people in the party at that time. And it was through an aggressive recruitment effort. And then place them in positions, place them on the city council, place them in parliament and start to train them. Deborah Backer, some of these people came into the party as city council members and they were trained. Just before I joined the YSM at age 16, GYSM, the party had a training school for young people. The party should reestablish that. Send some of these bright young people like Roysdale, Amanda, Ganesh, Danielle, Siram, send them to Harvard to complete leadership in government courses. Send them to executive leadership universities in Britain, in China, in Canada, University of the West Indies. The party has a serious problem. They have not trained a young cadre of leadership and established a succession leadership. That's why we're in this problem now. Everyone running for leadership right now, including those that have been proposed, is over age 60. That is unacceptable. Youth is the future. And if youth is the future, and we're thinking about the future, we need to project youth leadership. And that's what I want to see in the party.
Great. I noticed you sidestep saying X person should run or Y person should run. And I didn't mean that as an endorsement of any one person, but that's just that what in your mind would be or would have been your expectation, whether Vanessa Kissoon and Sharma Solomon, you call Brian Belgrave, James Bond, you got a plethora of young people in the PNC, Chanel Daniels, Smith Daniels, Odessa Primus, Odessa Gonzalez. I don't have a party card. But that was the thinking.
Well, all of them. Listen, and let me speak specifically about Vanessa Kissoon and Sharma Solomon. Our culture, our political culture in Guyana is so vindictive, where we like to punish people for being independent and expressing independent points of view. Sharma Solomon and Vanessa Kissoon have been sidelined in the party. I would like to see them reintegrated into the party. This is a time when everybody needs to come together. We need complete, full unity in the party at this point in time. So I would like to see Vanessa Kissoon. I don't know what's their status in terms of membership. I'd like to see Vanessa and I'd like to see Sharma Solomon all be reintegrated into the leadership of the party. The party cannot survive with people like David Grange at the top anymore. It is the young people of the party, the Sharma Solomons, the Vanessa Kissoon, the Roysdale Forde and Daniel Siram and Amanza Walton Desir and all these other people, Danish, Jaipal, not Jaipal, sorry. I'm speaking about a young MP from Region 6. I'm embarrassed, I forgot his name. It will come back to me. But all of these people
Jai Prashad.
should be,
Jai Prashad.
Jai Prashad, yes.
Yeah.
All of these people should be in the leadership of the party. They have, and as you said, they have young people in the city council. Look, we have a young mayor, we have a very young regional chairman. But somehow, at the party level, the leadership of the party, we have all of these senior people who are not giving way to young people. And I am against it. And I will continue to campaign for it. You will recall that when President Granger was president in 2017, I wrote a very stinging criticism after I saw his ambassadors. All of them were over 870 or at least 865. It is ridiculous. We have to start training our young people. And if, by comparison, look at the PPP. They have a lot of young people in government. The coalition did. But bear in mind, the young people are there. Look at the parliament. We have a lot of young MPs, but they're not in the leadership of the party. So look at what will happen. Let's say we have a young person now elected as leader of the party or chairman of the party who's not a member of parliament. How can you then synchronize and organize politically? That's because there's some level of disconnect. And to the extent that the party has walked away from its young people for a long time, they kind of swung back in this last election, and with the selection of members of parliament. I like that. I like some of the young people in parliament. But we have to go, the party has to go beyond that. The party needs to have a clear-cut strategy and a plan, succession plan, 15, 20 years down the road. Train these young people. Train them not only with your own leadership academy, but send them to Harvard, send them to Yale, send them all around the country. Train these people in finances. I don't even think there's a leading economist in parliament on the opposition side right now. Train these people. Send your people abroad. Train people through the public service. The PP did it. Barry Jack there was sitting there as a plan to the public service, and he went and used the opportunity to go and study. Let us do the same thing. Send our people to apply for scholarships and send them abroad. If not, arrange it. We have lots of relationships around the world. I mean, they're kind of fractured now, but we have to start training our young people. That's my focus. That's what I want to see. Youth leadership, bright young people with a vision for advancing the country, a vision for infrastructure development, a vision for social transformation, a vision for the total transformation of our economy and the country. And young people who are people's person, who understand that their constituency is what should drive them. The interest of the constituency is paramount to the party. That's important. Young people who understand that they have a thirst for changing people's lives, changing the welfare of the country, changing the trajectory, changing the healthcare system, reforming national security, reforming agriculture, reinvigorating the agricultural sector, bringing a whole new modern focus on housing and social development. That's what I want to see.
Fantastic. So we talked about the candidates who are running. More young people should be involved. The kinds of young people, not endorsing anybody in particular, but saying just run, just contend.
Yes.
But Rickford, let's say post Congress, what should be some of the first thing you would expect to see the next leader of the PNCR doing?
Reform the party. The party is archaic. The party has a very archaic structure. The party is now structured for the 1960s era. We want to see a modern party. First of all, the party needs, as part of the succession plan or mechanism in the party, there should be at least 3 deputy leaders, right? There should be one for political affairs, one for strategic planning. That would be the person in charge of the intellect of the party, and then somebody for the kind of mobilization and well, that'll be political affairs. Somebody for the development of the party. Somebody tasked specifically with developing the party development. That person will be responsible for maintaining the financial health of the party and the growth of the party. So you have 3 different responsibilities there where the leader does everything there. So those 3 deputy leaders should, and then there should be an elected general secretary. And there should be 2 assistant general secretaries, one for administration, one for, again, ensuring regional party the party regions function. And to me, the party needs an executive director that could run the party, deal with the day-to-day activities of the party, modernize the party. Then we want to see, to me, the party needs a proper financial plan that the party would forever be financially healthy. Also, I think the party has a abysmal PR profile, right? They need a modern IT facility or IT capacity. The party needs a modern state-of-the-art communication unit with their own studios and radio station and TV station that can formulate and conceptualize the message and broadcast it, because they've allowed the PPP to do that. And then what I would like to also see is a continuous membership drive. Continuous membership. Go to every tongue and every region, tongue and village, and reinvigorate the party, start back the party groups. Villages that don't have a party group, start back a PNC group. Also, the party should reach across all sectors of the society and bring people on board in the party. And again, recruit these young people. So it's a lot of work. And I also want to see a situation where the party leader doesn't have to be the presidential candidate of the party, right? The party must reform itself so that the presidential candidate could be a regular member of the party. Doesn't have to be the party leader, or a member of the central exec, or a member of the regional executive, somewhere along the line. We have to move away from this fact of maximum leadership. The party leader says this and the party leader must be this. No, let us have a healthy democracy in the party, and let's have a modern structure, a modern entity that's responsive to the needs of the membership and the population of Guyana.
Yeah, and you know, with all that you've said, I don't think the contrast could be any more stark. That, you know, the folks on the other side who got all this secrecy that their affairs shrouded in, and you got to go with whoever they handpick and say you must vote for this person. And we had the discussions last week that if you had a truly democratic system in the PPP, Irfaan would never rise to the top. He would never rise to the top. How you can get Frank Anthony getting the most votes at their version of Congress, and then you got Irfaan Ali emerge as the presidential candidate of the party? Through which vetting system could Irfaan reach to the top? We must be the laughing stock of this country when you see Irfaan on the international stage. When you listen to him, right, you wonder, like, what have we become?
Well, like I said, the PPP produced a presidential candidate that Barry Jagdev felt he could have controlled, and so that's why they went with Irfaan Ali. And you know, the PPP is not a democratic party. The PPP operates like the Communist Party of Russia. Yeah. Their central committees like the Politburo, right? So the PNC has an opportunity now to show up the PPP, to show the country what democracy is all about, to show the country what modern political organization should look like. And that's why I'm pushing for these reforms. That's why I'm pushing for bright young people. The party has some really bright young people, including the young man who's my brother that you just had on there. These are all young people that should be in leadership of the party. I think that those persons who have served with the experience and those who've had the opportunity to go into government should be the advisors, right? They should be the advisors to these young people. I wouldn't want to see anybody like David Granger is running for leadership now. No, I think we've passed that stage. We want And I want to say this. Some people criticize me for saying, yes, we want young people, but they're saying we need experience. And my response is this. 20 years ago, we were saying the same thing. But if we would listen to people who were proposing that young people should take over the party 20 years ago, they would have the experience now. And so they can't get the experience unless we give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm saying now, let us break from the past. Let us give our young people the reins of leadership and let them run with it with the guidance of those who've come before. Standing on the shoulders of people like Forbes Burnham, Ormea Johnson, and all of these people who should be role models for young men and women. Viola Burnham. You had so many people, Dr. Faith Harding. These young people should aspire to be those people. And we must give them an opportunity to take up the reins of leadership and guide them along the way.
And you know, Rickford, let me say again, it's to the credit of all these people and persons who are running, and to the party as well, that they have, I think, broken the mold as being a national party and having their elections, even though internal, so public, right? And then the guys on the other side, I'm certain, are going to be put on the back foot, because their folks going to be wondering why these jagabats can't be just as open, right? Why we got to go and select and pick somebody who causing me this kind of embarrassment. And I'm telling you, they're equally embarrassed with Irfaan on the world stage, equally embarrassed. I'm certain every time Irfaan pick up a mic and step up to the podium, they're holding the seats, wondering what's coming now.
Did you see how Jade looked at him at the UN when he said rap?
Oh, yes. I don't want to know what happened after that.
Listen, you touched on a very important point with Roysdale, and permit me to add my 2 cents to it. And this is this, you said he's schizophrenic. That's the right term. Because all of a sudden they want to consult without conditions. And Sharon, it's not because he had a change of heart, not because I think the US pressured him, not because they now believe in democracy. It is because they've hit a roadblock. They're seeing independent judges who follow the rule of law, who interpret the Constitution as it should be interpreted, ruling against them, and they want to appoint more of their kind of judges who can rule in their favor. And now they realize, in order to appoint more judges, or in order to appoint police officers who they think line up with their political thinking and would execute their racist orders, they need a police service commission and a judicial service commission, particularly the judicial service commission. And they realize now they can't do it without consultations with the opposition, and meaningful consultation, because they're the ones that created the legal precedent that caused the Caribbean Court of Justice. They brought the case that caused the Caribbean Court of Justice to define what meaningful consultation is. And so they just want now to have this meeting with the opposition leader, because their only aim is to appoint people, and they can't do it without these commissions. And I have said publicly, I don't think the opposition leader should go to any meeting for any consultation until there's a meeting about equitable governance of the country. Because the PPP believes that because they won one more seat in parliament than the opposition, there's a one-seat government. They think that they must control the entire society. They want to control the judiciary. They want to control the police force. They want to control everybody. They want to control contracts. They want to control oil and gas. They want to control everything. They even want to control who friends you must have. Correct. Because if they see somebody talking to Sherrod, he can't get contract because he's friend with Sherrod. That's how they want to run the country. And we have to have a discussion about that. Yes, it's not backwardness. They know what they're doing. It is an ethnocracy. They want to run the country only for their own political supporters. That's what they want to do. And so I think before any consultation, I want to advise the opposition leader that there must be a meeting with all the stakeholders about equitable governance. We want to have equity in everything. Equity in land distribution, equity in house lot allocation, equity in the allocation of contracts, equity. We want to see the regions that they don't win, that they did not win, get the resources. You can't start Region 4 for funds when Region 4 brings in the largest amount of money and has the largest population, but you didn't win it. say want to starve Georgetown for
Yeah.
funds, starve Region 4.
Yeah.
No, we want equity and we want also justice.
Yeah.
Justice for all these people that have been killed. So that should be the conversation now. Not no appointment and no commission, equitable governance.
Fantastic, fantastic. Rickford, we're gonna leave our conversation there this evening. We know we got some weeks to go as we get on the road to this 21st biannual Delegates Congress of the PNCR, and definitely we're gonna have you back, Roysdale. Talking about these issues and giving us your insights. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining, my brother.
Thank you for having me. Good night to you and your listeners.
Fantastic, fantastic, folks. That's our program this evening. That's our brother, as you know, Mr. The one and only Rickford Burke, the president of CGID there in the US of A, always available to give us guidance on this program. And we're so thankful. Folks, I apologize. Our program has been the optics of our program this evening. We lost our monitor, and the optics has been a little off than the quality you've come to expect. I apologize on behalf of the team at this, and guys, and we're going to rectify that in very, very short order. I don't know what is happening. The guys have been struggling for the duration of the program. We're going to leave it here for this evening, guys, and we're going to be back tomorrow evening, same time, same place. Before you go, guys, I want to invite you to share the live stream. Share the live stream. We're going to leave it here this evening. Forgive me if I don't stick around and give you guys a shout out tonight. I want to head behind the scenes and see if we can sort out some of these issues. Thanks for joining us in the ring. That's our time tonight. Let's fight. Let's fight, guys. You know, we always say you got to social distance, wear your mask, sanitize, practice all the COVID-19 protocols that are in place for your health and your safety, for that of your friends, family, and your loved ones, guys. Let's fight. We got to keep fighting. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we're going to see you back again tomorrow evening. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.